Opening day, Season 3 here in the St. Louis Cardinals franchise. Welcome back, everybody. We're on MLB The Show 24, getting ready for a new season in the series. After putting together a playoff season last year, we're hoping to take things a step further now. We added Dylan Cease in the offseason, Nestor Cortez, and we also brought in free agent Lane Thomas. I'm excited to see this team this year, and now this depth chart's a bit messed up because I just went through spring training. We're going to talk about that and get ready for the first game of the season. This roster hasn't changed significantly from last year, but Dylan Cease, Lane Thomas, Nestor Cortez, those are big additions. We're also going to see some prospects have a chance to make this opening day roster, and we're going to get started today talking about Norris Sullivan, the second draft pick of this series. I decided that now was his time to get a shot at the majors, and I've been kind of rethinking how I'm going to go about elevating guys to the majors, when to give guys opportunities, and I think this year is a perfect chance. In Sullivan's case, he's already very close to his potential. It's a mid-C potential, and I think he has the hitting skills to contribute and maybe come off the bench this year. I gave Sullivan an opportunity, and he crushed it here in the spring with the second highest OPS on the roster, hitting .339 and 56 at-bats with a home run and 7 other extra base hits. We're going to start this off by saying Norris Sullivan has made the 26-man roster. It's one thing when there is an entrenched veteran at a spot that you know is probably not going to be topped anytime soon. So you keep guys like Elvis Martinez developing at AAA for their opportunity. But this year in center field, we got Victor Scott, who has a chance to become a starter. And Scott has not proven himself yet at the big leagues with 60 career at-bats. His hitting ratings don't say he's going to be a great offensive threat. But I think also in the situation where a guy is like 25, 26 years old, you've just got to give that guy a chance to play, to succeed or fail at the majors, and not just always wait for like AAA, AA confirmation. At some point, you just got to see if a guy can play. And in the case of Scott, you can't be confident he's going to become like an everyday great starter. So that's where I want to bring up guys like Sullivan, because there's opportunity there. If Scott struggles, maybe somebody like Sullivan ends up being an answer. We can't have those kinds of stories play out if we don't take a chance. If I just sign some rando 33-year-old center fielder, that's got a limited ceiling. Early in this series, I wanted to see Masyn Winn and Victor Scott develop more at AAA. Well, the time is now for them to play at the bigs. Masyn Winn is 24 years old. He's used up one of his options, and he's coming off a pretty productive spring, hitting .274 with a home run. We know his defensive skill is his calling card, and there might not be a great chance for him to start right away, but as the season unfolds, I want to see what ends up happening with center field and shortstop. That's why I don't want Winn down at AAA. It's possible we could put Tommy Edman back into center field and then Masyn Winn becomes the shortstop. But to start this season, I want Victor Scott, Masyn Winn, along with Norris Sullivan, all on our bench. I did not play at all with Victor Scott in the spring training games, but I was on base with some of our players when he was hitting. And the results weren't great, but he's still going to make this big league roster, and we're going to see what he's able to do. On the pitching side of things, it was a solid spring for Dylan Cease with 35 strikeouts and 34 innings, a 1.02 whip, and 3.93 ERA. I wanted to pitch a couple innings with him just to get a feel for his skill set and his 4-pitch mix, and I felt very good about what he was throwing. There were some really fun strikeouts in those innings, and I'm excited to see him get the opening day start today. Newcomer Lane Thomas had 4 homers and 49 at-bats, hitting .204. I'm expecting Thomas to be a 20-plus home run hitter while playing good defense in the outfield, giving us a better all-around package than we got from Dylan Carlson. The final player I want to talk about here is Orelvis Martinez. Because the hope is that he can take over for Nolan Arenado, I want to see him continue to develop at AAA. He did get a chance to play here in the spring and did not do a very good job. A 145 average, 194 on base, just has not developed enough as a hitter quite yet. This is a really key season for him to get as much development as he can down at AAA, because this will be the final option we can use with him. This is the third year. So next season, he's expected to be on the big league roster. Hopefully, closer to being a starting caliber player. But let's go ahead and set this opening day roster then. We will start with our cuts. We're sending down Cooper Jerpy, Adam Kloffenstein, and as our fifth starter, I decided I would just let the numbers do the talking here. And that fifth spot is won by Tink Hence, whose numbers across the board were better than Tekoa Roby. And also, it's better that Hence doesn't already have his second option used, and we can use the first on Roby. Tink Hence is in the starting five. I think he'll return at some point, but we're basically swapping Andre Pallante and Ryan Fernandez. Getting a look at if Pallante's ready to help out this bullpen. Fernandez could use maybe a little time to reset. And we're sending down Christian Pache as well. We have to waive him and Joe Adell. But here are the final cuts to get us down to a 26-man roster. And here's what we've got for opening day of Season 3. The game seems to like our roster here quite a bit. I think we have a much stronger starting five this season after getting through those contracts of some of those older starters. And now our starting nine looks very solid with the addition of Lane Thomas. We'll see about Victor Scott in center. That's definitely the biggest question mark in what is otherwise a pretty complete offense. I'm also keeping an eye on the regression this year for Nolan Arenado at 34 years old with 2 years left on his long-term contract. Last year was a step back in almost every metric. He also got hurt. So where will his game go from here? Could we see him continue to decline or show he still has more gas in the tank? Also, some feedback I got last episode, and thank you for pointing this out. I had missed a couple players when I was offering tender contracts, and one of them was Steve Castilla, the very first draft pick of the series. Some of these players ended up back in the free agent pool. I had to sign them back. In the case of Castilla, I actually had to reacquire him. I think what happened when I was doing the renewable deals is, I think the button combination just for doing those deals ended up making me skip past a handful of players that ended up just going into free agency because I missed giving them contracts. I'll have to be much more careful about that next season because in this massive list of players, I wanted to bring back Sajazi, Castilla, Soto, Ciani, so I have to be more careful with that. But I guess, thankfully, the trade logic in this game is still bad, so I was able to get him back relatively easily. As a reminder, by the way, here are the players that we have from last year's draft class, including Daryl Marino, the 72 overall first baseman. I don't think he's going to have the longest wait to make it to the bigs. Steve Padilla is a 67 overall left fielder. His defense is going to have to come around. We have a lot better defensive outfielders in this organization. Augustin Garcia, I want to see if I can develop one of these like 45 overall guys. I don't think I have before. And then you got some relievers too. Rico Marte, Lionel Shed. Hopefully within a couple years we're seeing these guys get closer to the bigs. I also want to start adjusting player positions based on where I'm actually playing them. And thank you for the feedback on the secondary position. If I just don't touch that, I should be able to maintain all the flexibility for players such as Brendan Donovan, who can play pretty much everything. I didn't realize that if I just didn't touch that spot, that secondary positions would no longer be affected. And one change we're going to have in the field now, and thank you again for pointing this out, it's much better if we have Nolan Gorman DH and Brendan Donovan, who is a good infielder, play second. He has more skill there than Gorman. We upgrade our defense. We upgrade our outfield. I think we were already a pretty good defensive team, and we made 3 moves here, essentially, that made it even better. Donovan's better than Gorman. Thomas is a better fit with his range than Donovan in left, so there's 2 spots. And then you got Victor Scott, who has the speed to be a real difference maker there and could end up playing a lot even if his hitting is not that valuable. But why don't we see who our opening day opponent will be? We've got the New York Mets in the opener. Michael King, Dylan Cease. Then we play the Miami Marlins, and then we got the Braves, Cubs, Kansas City, and the Angels. We won't face Milwaukee until the end of May, it appears. And down the stretch, we're going to finish out the final month with a lot of road games, and we play the Twins and Pirates to end the season. I know there has been some feedback to see what I'm doing here with the training, and every year I go ahead and adjust it, and for certain players, I will just go in randomly and make some changes there as well. But I've been having Jordan Walker improve as a fielder this entire time. I'm also working on defense for Norris Sullivan to give him a better chance to be a starting outfielder. I'll probably go back and forth between the arm training and the actual fielding training. For Daryl Marino, I'm thinking that I'm going to be focusing mostly on power and then the vision, discipline, clutch combo. Given he's a first baseman, he doesn't have to be a great fielder. And one thing I've also been thinking about lately is, say a guy has a potential at 85 overall. We all know that the overall formula is grabbing from all these different ratings to get to that number. You could be an 85 overall with everything being balanced and just 70s across the board, you know? But couldn't you also just be an 85 overall with elite power and maybe some strengths and weaknesses? I think that maybe I can kind of treat this almost like an RPG with these players and think more about, all right, how do we want to get to 85? Because if that's the ceiling and not everything can be great, well, then it's like having a salary cap on skills. You can go all in on a couple or you can go balanced over more. In the case of Marino, I want him to be a heavy hitter. Steve Castilla and many of these other pitchers are going to get pitching clutch training because that is the rating that takes over hit per 9 when there are runners in scoring position. And I think it's a pretty key rating if you want a guy to be a high-quality arm in the rotation or the bullpen. For Victor Scott, I'm going to rely mostly on vision, discipline, clutch training here because my thought is that if I can get him to draw a few walks, that might help out if he's only like a 200 hitter. I just need to get him on base. His speed can take care of the rest. For Aurelvis Martinez, I'm also focusing on this trio of ratings because I think to be a high-quality big league starter, those have to be in a good place, regardless of contact and power. And for 46 overall Augustin Garcia, I'm just going to start training the power. I think that's one of the ways to get him being productive as early as possible. All right, so with all of that, the roster is set. Everything seems ready to go for opening day. I'm excited for this season. I love the moves that we've been able to make. This team has a ton of promise, and there's even a lot of prospects that could end up helping us out this season. So let's settle in, everybody, for year 3. Thank you for all the support thus far in the franchise. If you would please leave a like on the video, that'd be much appreciated. Very helpful to the series and the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. Try to post these episodes as much as I can, a few times a week. And I'm hoping to get a lot accomplished in this series before we get to College Football 25. Right now, we're being projected to have the same record that we did last season. And it's time for Dylan Cease to make his Cardinals debut. Cease was outstanding last year and was the big addition of free agency. Cease made 32 starts a year ago, 3.37 ERA. And now Francisco Lindor leads off for the Mets. And we get underway. Season 3, Cardinals franchise. There's the fastball that'll clock in the upper mid-90s. But when I was playing in spring training, I really liked his off-speed stuff. I think he has a really good 4-pitch mix. And I'm excited to get to play with him here as Contreras will head behind the dish and secure the first out of 2026. And there's the lineup today for the Mets. Brandon Nimmo, Jeff McNeil, and then Francisco Alvarez. It doesn't seem the Mets have changed a lot of their starting lineup. And given they just had like 50 wins last year, that's a good thing for us. Nolan Arenado down below. He's closing in on some milestones. He should get 2,000 career hits. He has 30 home runs to go before he hits 400. I don't know about 30. But I think between this year and next, he absolutely gets there. Cease 2-2. Off the inside as we get the notification down below. We have 7 top 100 prospects in the top-rated farm system. Not too bad. Line to right field. Nimmo is aboard. Geez, the Twins are projected to win their division with 80 wins. How bad is the Central? Nice curveball from Dylan Cease. Line towards left. It's Thomas who has to play it on a bounce. Fires to third base, and he's out by a mile. Nimmo caught being greedy, and the Cardinals have 2 down. So that's the first outfield assist. Does that count as an assist? I don't know why it wouldn't. Francisco Alvarez. Next off a Cease. Arenado on the charge and not in time. While I'm at it here, wanting to improve some defense this year, well, let's first make sure Cease is okay. Oh, Contreras took his glove off. This is serious. He's good. But I want to take care of, I think I'm just going to turn off the throw canceling. Because the amount of times I'd actually want to cancel versus the times I accidentally cancel, we're just going to turn that guy off right there. I like the animations in this game. You know, it reminds me of playing, you know, games like Red Dead and GTA. Like anything that Take-Two publishes pretty much has that weighty animation style, and the show is very much like that. And sometimes it's hard to feel like you're in full control, but it still has more realistic movement. Lined or grounded through the right side, and Nootbaar's gonna fire home, and for the second time this inning, he dropped it! Excuse me? Nootbaar just threw him a perfect ball. What happened? How do the Mets have 4 hits off of Dylan Cease? It's a great throw. The Mets are greedy. It's the same old Mets. And Contreras drops the ball. I have not seen that in this game. I didn't know it could happen. Still, Cease has allowed 4 hits. Not a great first inning. And now a fly ball, and Nootbaar will actually have to back up a step. And it's a 1-0 lead for New York. For all of you playing the show at home, I want you to keep this in mind every time you're throwing home now and you think you got a guy. He's got no shot. Your all-star catcher might just drop the ball. Here's Michael King, who we also had a chance to add in free agency, but went in a different direction. Big addition for the Mets. Both the opening day starters in this game were just acquired. And Brendan Donovan leads off after a fantastic season last year. He was just a few points off of the batting title. A ground ball to second base, and Donovan is out. These are projected averages. If Victor Scott can hit 219, I think we'll be okay. If he can walk his way to a 300-plus on base, that'll be a solid season. Lars Nootbaar, the home run leader from last year, steps in, had 30 of those long balls, 95 RBIs, hitting .308. And now crushes one deep to center field, and it's out of here. A home run. Lars Nootbaar got that cement mixer over the plate and blasts it out of here to tie things at 1. Not a bad first swing of the season. And here is Jordan Walker. Walker coming off a great year as well. All three of these guys hitting 1, 2, 3. He hit .294, 23 home runs. I could see him becoming the home run leader this season. That's my prediction. Walker leads us with like 35. Who do you think's our home run leader in this season? Let me know down below with a number. Anybody guessing Victor Scott, your guess will be thrown out. King's kind of all over the place. He's thrown 3 slurves in this at-bat, and they've all landed in different parts of the country. Now a grounder to second base. The sinker gets him out of this one. And Wilson Contreras, 2-time All-Star in the series. Not sure how many that makes it in his career. 1,002 career hits. Popped up. Got a fastball and just got under it. And that's the first inning of the season. Hopefully he can get through this inning a bit cleaner. And although he gave up 4 hits, it was only on 15 pitches. So at least it wasn't an agonizing, drawn-out inning. Managed to get pretty unlucky. They didn't hit the ball that hard, and his catcher dropped the ball. I'm just not going to be able to let that go today. It's going to be on my mind as I'm trying to sleep tonight. Why did Wilson Contreras drop an easy ball? 4-pitch walk starts the inning. Bottom of the order for New York, we have Mark Vientos. Last year at a .215 average, 19 homers. Very modern day stat line, and down 0-2. Got him! 96 up and in. Now Drew Gilbert falls down 0-2. 3-2. That changeup's really dropping out. I'm not sure if he's missing or if it just really breaks that much. Haven't thrown it enough to know for sure. 3-2 to Gilbert. And he misses and walks his second to the inning. Got away with that slider to Francisco Lindor. And the changeup. That was a miss. Lindor swings anyway. Strike 3. Not really a fan of how he's controlling this changeup, but we'll take that. That's much better. A bit more trouble in this inning. This is the 23rd pitch of the frame. Way inside, and now the runners leave early. Challenged him and fouled off by Nimmo. That's line toward Thomas, who makes the grab. Nolan Gorman, 26 home runs a year ago, 93 RBIs. And now this year looking to DH. Gorman lifts one deep the other way, and it runs out of gas ahead of the track. And here is Lane Thomas, who I did not remember started his career with the St. Louis Cardinals. So he's back, starting in left field. Let me pull up his numbers now with the Cardinals because it was short-lived before his move to the Nationals. He played with the Cards from 2019 to 2021, but hadn't really established himself in that time. Oh, that's a foul tip, strike 3. Nolan finds himself hitting 7th. I just think this lineup's gotten so strong, it's the right spot for him, especially coming off a step back last season. We have a lot of good bats in this lineup, especially our lefties. So those guys get priority. The slurve is in there. That's picked up at second base. Nice catch by McNeil. Good fastball against Alvarez. Cease trying to have a cleaner inning now. Alvarez chops it to second base, and it's Donovan. We'll talk about that top-rated farm system at the end. Really excited about where this rotation is going with some good veteran additions. And then how many prospects down there that are fighting for opportunities. We have plenty of choices there. Blasted down the line, but it'll turn foul. And that's lifted for Scott in center, who will hit bottom of the frame. Had to bring Tommy back. He was the best shortstop fit, I thought, for us in the free agency. And he's got the flexibility if things don't work out in center with Scott. Spent all of last year at short and did a very good job. Edman in the air, right field. That is run down. And now, one of the true wild cards for this year. What are we going to get from Victor Scott? Hasn't proven himself as a hitter yet, but defensively and on the base paths, he can be a difference maker. 5th round pick in 2022. He's been a high-rated prospect in this organization for a while. And now we're trying to see what we got with him. That was definitely a pitch you want to take advantage of. And now 0-2. I might just have to do contact swing every time with Scott. Got a piece of it. Could be a lot of bunting this year from him as well. You know, even with 2 strikes, I'm tempted to just put it down with a third baseman playing so far back. Whoa, it hits him in the arm. Yeah, his slurve, he has had no idea where it's going. But that puts Scott on. The light is green. And King knows it. I'm going to see if they pitch out here first pitch. He does not. Scott goes and is in there. Safe. How many stolen bases for Scott this year? A lot of that depends on if he can stay in the starting lineup and at the bigs. But I think he's got, you know, even if he doesn't have great on-base numbers, I could see 30 to 40. Oh, I should have been ready for that one, but this slurve is just so inaccurate. Base hit center field. Scott will score. And it's 2-1, St. Louis. It's that slurve again. I don't know why he keeps throwing it. He's thrown it 16 times. We're 2 for 3 putting it in play. And he obviously doesn't have a preferred location to throw it. And Nootbaar connects again. A second homer on opening day. And we're now 3 for 4 against his slurve with 2 home runs and an RBI single. 30 home runs last year was impressive, but Lars just put himself on pace for 324 this year. Actually, even more. He's had 2 at-bats. So maybe more like 700. I thought we had one there, but a little late. And now 4 for 5, putting the slurve in play. I mean, he's like Joey Gallo trying to slap a single the other way. It's just not going to happen. He only knows how to do one thing. 1 and 2. There goes Walker. Strike 3. Walker steals second. He's throwing the slurve so much. It's a slower pitch. He's not throwing it accurately. It could end up in the dirt. When a guy's throwing that much off speed and bad off speed, we're going to run the bases. Now, I got wild there on a couple swings. Actually located it a little bit better. Gorman hits one to left. Walker running. He'll run home. And that is an RBI double. 5-1 St. Louis. What a start. This is awesome. This is how you hope you get your seasons underway. You know, when I'm playing Madden, I just want to sit down and play like a 28-17 game. Just a nice dominant showcase for everything we've got going right for the organization. Yeah, they have action in the pen. Picked up at first, and that should finally wrap up the third. Meanwhile, Dylan Cease, 52 pitches through 3, 1 earned run. Hasn't allowed a hit since the first inning. Good changeup in there. Why does his changeup look like a 12-6 curveball? I'm not sure I've thrown a changeup like that in this game.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
It's actually wild how much that's moving.
Ball, that's out. Nope.
That misses 2. Leadoff walk for Brett Beatty. So it isn't going to be the cleanest opening day start for Dylan Cease. Just hoping to limit the damage. But he's allowed 7 base runners. He's not throwing everything consistently for strikes. Guess I'm still getting used to some of his off-speed stuff. Got him! That's a good slider. Like, when I'm throwing this changeup, do I have to target it more like center of the plate to get it where I want? Blasted to left! Mark Vientos gets all of this one, and it's gone. A fastball low, and a fastball out of here. It is 5-3. Dare I say the Mets have shown some discipline at the plate. They're not offering on a lot of this close stuff, so then I'm trying to throw more in the zone, and they've hit stuff in the zone fairly well. Pitch 74 is popped up for Nolan Arenado. But it's not looking like this will be a deep outing for Dylan Cease. I think we're going to start getting the pen warm. Have they just been waving those towels this whole time? Isn't your arm tired? Everybody's doing it. Got him! And blocked by Contreras, strike 3. And we jump ahead, bottom 4. We have 2 away, and Victor Scott already hitting again. Scott pops up the bunt. Inning over. I have not really focused on developing a guy's bunting in any of my franchises to my recollection. Maybe Scott is going to be one of those guys. I'm thinking this will be it for Dylan Cease, but it's also a matter of if he gets through this inning. It's not the sharpest start. Walker is there. Gets the leadoff man. 2-2 on Jeff McNeil. Oh, the circle change. The curve change from Cease. I want to see this just to watch the vector of it coming in. This is not what I'm used to with a changeup. I've seen a circle change before, I promise, but they just do not travel like that from what I've seen. Got the bottom edge, and now hoping to get Alvarez. 94th pitch. He got him on that circle change. Finishing strong is Dylan Cease. 6 strikeouts. I was thinking maybe 7 today. Donovan to left. And the 2-hit opening day for last year's Cardinal batting champion. Michael King will be exiting. Responsible for Donovan. In comes Chase McDermott. Never seen that spelling before for Chase. That's a new one for me. The fans love our home run hero. I was hoping for number 3. That nearly hit him. Alvarez was able to stop it. Thought for sure that was headed to the backstop. 3-2 to Nootbaar. He missed inside. 2 on, nobody down. Whoa! How hard are they trying to make Francisco Alvarez's job today? Grounded on to third, and it got by him. Brett Beatty should have made that play. Instead, the bases are loaded when there could have been 2 gone in the inning. E5. Wilson Contreras has the bases loaded. I was ready for that one. The count is even. Grounded on to third. Beatty will make the play this time as a run scores. Will gladly accept the insurance run and bring up Nolan Gorman. Got on top of it. Backhanded at first. And now a 3-run game. And we bring in JoJo Romero, fresh off signing a 3-year, $20.5 million contract with us to be one of our primary relief pitchers. A lot of lefties here in this lineup for New York, so probably going to use many of them today. Strike 1 on Conforto. See, his circle change only has the one little, whatever, half circle to indicate the movement. Here's JoJo's change. That one just seems more standard to me. I got to see the break on Cease's because it's just not normal. 3-2 on Michael Conforto. He struck him out. Speared by Nolan, whose defense is still top tier. Victor Scott coming in, and it's a clean 6th for Romero. Lane Thomas can't get it through. Great play by Lindor. Here is one of our free agent additions in the bullpen. It's Hunter Harvey. I was looking for a new righty. We signed him to a 2-year contract after very good season last year, I believe with the the Nationals. And Contreras is under the Vientos pop-up. Harvey has a 12-6 curve, slider, and then a splitter, in addition to a triple-digit fastball at times. We had to get this pitching staff a lot younger. I mean, the Cardinals, in year 1, have to have one of the oldest pitching staffs in Major League history. There's like a combined 300 years experience. On top of that one, right to Donovan. So far, I like my first impression here of Harvey. 0-2. And the splitter throws Lindor. That's Victor Scott softly into left center field, and he is aboard. That came off the bat at 71 miles per hour exit velocity. It's Donovan, and the pitch is inside. Scott swipes second for the second time today. They almost got him there at second base. Base hit left field. Scott is waved home, and he will score standing. 7-3 St. Louis. Donovan's going to love Victor Scott. Oh, what has Lars Nootbaar done today? Refresh my memory. That's about third row in right center. And that's a lot further back in right. 2 for 2, 2 homers and a walk. He has not gone into a full sprint today. Base hit left field. 2 on for the Cards. Jordan Walker with a 3-1 count. McDermott walks him and the bases are loaded. Contreras already had 1 bases loaded, nobody out chance. Didn't get the RBI because it was a double play ball. What do we think about that rule? Do you think that's fair? Bounce down the line. That's going to be fair. And it'll be a 2-run double for... No, he didn't get there. I was sure he would. 2-run single. And that is Gorman to left center. And that's another RBI hit. His second double of the day. Hammering the Mets on opening day. This is a spectacular debut to the season. And we are going to start putting players into the game, including Norris Sullivan, who will take his first big league at-bat on opening day. He was a Season 1 draft pick. 3rd round. We didn't have a second that year. Here is Norris Sullivan, number 27. Drafted at 19 years old, debuting at 20. Inside. He had 76 potential when we drafted him. If I remember correctly, it may have dropped a point. I'll have to refresh my memory on that. Oh, fastball up. Nearly hit him with the slider. Got him! Swung through a slider for strike 3. And Arenado lifts this into the outfield, but an easy play as the Mets finally end the 7th. Sullivan will take over left field. Mason Wynn will take over at short. And here is Zach Thompson, the second lefty to pitch for us today. And he's coming off a very strong season with us. Although he did give up the Bryce Harper tying home run in the 13th inning of Game 3 in the Wild Card Series. You know, maybe I shouldn't have thrown a circle changeup right here. Lifted to center. Scott has it. McNeil looks at strike 3. Now ahead of Alvarez. And here's the cutter. Too far inside. Wow, nailed the spot that time. And walked him. We'll go with the fresh arm here in Michael Kopech. See if he can finish this game out for us. After a rough start last year, he seemed to pitch better in the second half. And now he's essentially made the team over Ryan Fernandez. So Rule 5 pickups, kind of trading spots. That was weird. Brett Beatty, he strikes out looking. Rough day for Brett. Mason Wynn will take his first cut of this season against Spencer Turnbull. Popped up. And it will be the first out. Victor Scott, 1 for 2 with a hit by pitch, 2 stolen bases. 67 off the bat. And now another pop-up and foul ground. I think I've lost all my ability to hit for the day, but it's been a pretty good day. Brendan Donovan, 3 for 4 with a trio of singles so far. Great start to his season. That might make it 4 hits. It does! 4 singles. One more chance for Lars then. On top of this one, that was a power swing. He kind of baited me with that one. Beautiful pitch from Kopech. See, I can control. I've used some other circle changes today. They've all been easier to control than Dylan Cease. I can't stop thinking about that changeup. One hopper to Nolan. 2 gone. Belted to center. Scott in a full sprint. And that's a great opening day win for our Cardinals. What a team victory. Dylan Cease gave us a look at what he can bring to the table, and it wasn't even his best game. But a great showing for this offense and what our Cardinals have here in Season 3. We have a potent, complete offense. A bullpen that's gotten a lot stronger. And some very good starting pitching. Lars Nootbaar, 2 home runs on the day. Brendan Donovan, 4 singles. Thinking Lars has to be player of the game in this one, and indeed he is. That's just the perfect way to start a season. Before we wrap things up today, let's take a look at that number 1 ranked farm system, where we have 7 top 100 prospects, including number 11, Benny Matsumoto, who's a while away from contributing. Dylan Lesko at 16, 72 overall. Then we go down a bit. At 36 is Steve Castilla, another starting pitcher. Also in the top 50, Steve Padilla debuting at 18 years old. 60 is Agustin Garcia. 61 is Daryl Marino. Tink Hence ends up at 82, and he's currently in the majors, so not a prospect for much longer. And here's a look at the organizational top 20. We have very good pitchers, a couple of outfielders. We've been focusing mostly on the pitchers early in this series, and now starting to shift our focus. I think we'll look into shortstops this year in case Mason Wynn doesn't work out. I also like to look for maybe some lefties at pitcher, because we have an awful lot of righties. But that is going to do it for the opening day episode in Season 3. Let me know your thoughts down below. Hope you had a good time with this episode. I know I sure did. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Much more Cardinals franchise on the way here in Season 3. Have a great day, everyone. See you next time.